Dublin is cold as shit out here, man. I just came from Vegas. It's like 120 degrees or something, and then I come out here, it's like, it's cold. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mads.
What's up?
Big night on Saturday. Daniel Weichel, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, very good. I'm excited.
You're obviously here this time last year. What were your memories? I know you lost tonight, but what was your experience of fighting in Dublin?
One more time, that Irish accent is fucking me up.
What was your experience of fighting in Dublin last year? I know it didn't go your way, but how did you find the city?
The crowd is crazy. Like, I think it's probably like the top 2 crowds I've ever fought in front of. Like, yeah.
What was the first?
I actually think the best crowd I fought in front of was in Denmark a couple of years ago. But it was a way smaller stadium, so it was more intimate, but like the Dublin crowd was crazy too. Probably the reason why I thought Copenhagen was good is because it was home court advantage, right?
Obviously, Daniel's one of the most experienced fighters around. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent?
Man, he's a legend. That's why I called him out. I know I've been talking some shit, and I've said this before, but it was mostly to reel him in. I've been wanting to fight this guy since I almost became a pro. He fought in Denmark when I was 10 years old on a fight card. I was live watching back in 2004. So it's pretty cool getting to fight him. And he's like all round good like fighter. He fought who's who, and like if you look at his track record, that's like the type of record you would want to have when you retire. He's really the anybody, anytime, anywhere, and I respect that a lot.
Very good. Just behind you, we've got 2 guys in the poster, Pedro and Pico. Pico, what are your thoughts on that fight?
I'll leave that to them.
Fair enough.
Mads, obviously you're a top-level jiu-jitsu guy, and jiu-jitsu is maybe becoming less and less relevant as a finishing method in MMA over the last few years. As someone who obviously is one of the top people in the world at that art in mixed martial arts, do you think it's something that kind of can make a rebound, that people can start finishing people via submission again?
Not the way that they teaching it in the jiu-jitsu gyms today. It's soft as fuck, to say it like mildly. Like they going for all this worm guard, spider guard, this guard, that guy. Like the old school way, like Henso and Hickson did it. Like get the takedown, get on top, get to mount, punch somebody in the face and choke people. That's how it works in MMA. But this soft shit where they like butt scoot to each other and try to get each other's foot, that shit don't fly in MMA. So when you get slapped, that don't work.
That's probably the answer I wanted. Is that something that you've kind of looked at your game and like you need to do that? Is it more aggressive? Is aggression the thing that you need maybe while using your jiu-jitsu?
No, I think you got to be smart. It's like always position before submission, and usually if you get the submission, it's because the opponent kind of quit on you. Especially in MMA. In Jiu-Jitsu, it's more like scrambly. People open up more for position, but MMA guys are better at getting up. And that's actually a thing. I think it's a major flaw in today's Jiu-Jitsu schools, that they emphasize way more on submissions than positions. If I have my position correct, you'll never get me in a submission. And it's kind of like the same as if I just go in and teach you how to knock somebody out. But if I don't put you in that space where I can put it on you, it don't matter. So, yeah.
Do you think a large part of that is because of the way fights are judged these days? And obviously, if you hold position and you aren't going for submissions or aren't landing big shots, you're not scoring as heavily.
One more time, again, the Irish accent.
Sorry. So, do you think jiu-jitsu has changed in MMA because of the way fights are judged these days?
No, I don't think so. I think it all goes back to the jiu-jitsu schools. They're soft. It's simple as that. When you look at ADCC and all that stuff, none of them goes for like for the wrestling. It's just, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna scoop with my butt towards you. No, that's not a fight. If they want to make jiu-jitsu great again and make it great again in MMA, they should start giving minus points for jumping guard. If your guard is that freaking good, you get a minus point. And I bet you then they'll stop jumping guard.
Do you think jumping guard in MMA is something that should be brought back more to be more aggressive?
No. Actually, it's funny because I'm good on the ground, but I actually really think jiu-jitsu is soft. I actually don't like it. It's weird to say, especially how it is today. I really don't like how jiu-jitsu, like how the tournaments and how they call it fights. How can it be a fight when nobody's getting slapped? That I don't understand. Like I really don't like how the jiu-jitsu is today.
Kind of touching on what Sean was saying there, as a fighter, when the rules do tweak or change, they did a few years ago, and the scoring criteria becomes different, are you a fighter that kind of would be up on that, or would you be making sure you knew every last rule, that that having dominant position is, as if you've been hit with a big shot early in the round, is probably not going to win the round for you? You need to make something happen. Is that in your mind, or is you just doing what you always do?
I just do what I always do.
Do you think that's a disadvantage to not, if you were playing any other sport and you didn't really know the rules properly of how to win, that would be a big problem? No?
I can't. When a man is trying to kick my head off, I cannot think of the rules. I just gotta fight, and you gotta go in with an open mindset. Like the Borix fight, I thought, oh, we're gonna get into a grappling match. I'm gonna take him down, but then I had fun on the feet. And the Justin Gonzalez fight, I was like, yeah, man, I want to get it on the feet, and he had nothing on the ground, so we ended on the ground. You gotta go in with an open mindset and take what the fights brings you.
Obviously, you fought like kind of a who's who on the local circuit over the years, and you fought in a lot of events. But when you come into as the kind of the villain against Pedro Carvalho, your last time here, does some of that kind of crowd noise, that kind of stuff, affect you, or as you're saying, is it when you're in there trying to beat up another man, is it just complete focus, or do you think anything changes mentally, or is there an extra pressure on yourself or anything like that when you're kind of like the villain in a hostile crowd?
I actually never thought I was the villain until you just said it, so that's pretty funny. But the fight you have in front of you is always the most important, and it doesn't matter if I'm fighting on this stage right here or if I'm fighting at 3 Arena. Like, you gotta go in and do what you gotta do to advance in your career. You're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have good days. You just gotta keep going forward.
So Daniel's always very exciting. Like, he always brings a fight to you. Would you rather win in a very dominant way, or would you rather have one of those fights that everyone is talking about at the end of the night? It's back and forth.
Yeah, that's a tough question for me because you don't get paid for overtime or what you say. So if I can go in and get him out of there real quick and barely get touched, of course you got to be smart and use your fight IQ. But deep inside and all down to my nuts, I want to have a Gaddy Walt type of fight. But if I can make it easy, he's a legend. Of course, it's not going to be easy. But if I can make it easier, then of course I will do that.
What do you think? How important is your legacy in Denmark for you?
To be honest, I don't give two shits about Denmark. They're dumber than these. What do you call this? When it comes to fighting, the casuals, I don't give two shits about. For me, it's about getting respect from the people that I looked up to, the fighters that I looked up to when I was coming up, and from the young guys that is coming up now to be looking up to me. The casuals, they don't know their ass from their elbow. So, yeah.
Is that part of the reason why you moved to Vegas as well? Or?
No, it's because that's where the best training is, and that's where, if you bump into the best training partners, it's like the mecca of fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you there soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santiago?
I'm Matt. Hello from Amsterdam. Thank you
sorry.
for the time.
What the fuck is
Matt,
that?
you were very vocal about wanting to fight against Weichel after your excellent performance against Gonzalez. And it seems like Weichel was for a short while not responding. Here we have the fight. Did you always have a feeling Bellator would make this fight at some point anyway?
I don't know if I had a feeling, but I was on it right after my last fight. I was like, I want to fight this guy, and yeah, Bellator made it happen, and I'm super grateful for making this fight happen and giving me this opportunity. So yeah, it's super cool.
So Extreme Couture is an amazing spot right now with champions all over the place, and a lot of strong contenders as well, like yourself, Jeremy Kennedy. The list just goes on, but how did your camp go for this fight? And can you feel it in the gym that the excitement level is very high?
The excitement level is always very high in Extreme Couture. There's a bunch of crazy dudes in that gym. Need I say more than Sean Strickland? But the camp has been going great. I'm injury-free and ready to go.
Patrick?
Hey, Mads. Last time out, you got back in the win column against a very highly touted prospect. Did that add any motivation to you for training for this fight?
No, that didn't add anything for motivation for this fight. I don't know if you guys recall, I think I called Weichel out after my first or second Bellator fight. So it's motivating just to get to fight this guy. Like, I've kind of been looking up to. Like I said, he from my part of the world, like Scandinavia, Germany, and Northern Europe, he's kind of a legend. So it's super cool fighting him.
When do you think down the line, maybe, you know, this fight, however it plays out, if there's no bad blood, we could see maybe you coming down to Frankfurt and training with Weichel and the MMA Spirit team?
Yeah, I wouldn't have no problem with that. He seems like a cool cat. I remember even when I called him out the first time, I was actually here in Dublin and I was calling out. I already called him out and I was cornering Patchy Mix on the Dublin card. And he saw me at breakfast and came over and said hello and we chopped it up. So for my part, there's no bad blood.
Thanks, Mads.